Continuing on the custom card review streak, we're going to be talking about I think that's a LR Cell Max. And those are, bro. And it's coming in from Hunter. He sent 2 cards, but as you guys know, if you send me multiple cards, I write your name down inside of my notepad, specifically on a piece of paper, and I get back to it in the future in the form of a live stream. But with that being said, before I go ahead and read the message inside Hunter's email for today's custom card review, send me custom cards over to bhjfcustomcards@gmail.com so I get to your custom card as soon as possible. I'm getting all of these recent custom cards out the way. So Hunter says, this is the Cell Max concept I told you about yesterday, plus a bonus transforming Majin Vegeta that turns into Stone Vegeta as well. I am very, very interested in Cell Max more so than the Vegeta, which is why I picked the Cell Max over the Vegeta. A, because, I love Cell, and B, look at those stats, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, you put I never put their stats in, so here's the stats. Okay, so Cell Max has 25k HP, 38,000 attack. Let me repeat that again for my stat junkies out there. 38,000 attack and 20,000 defense. Cell Max's stats are bananas. Just crazy high. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. It's either a high defensive stat, which of course for Majin Vegeta over here has a crazy high defensive stat, or the card just has ridiculous overall stats, like crazy high attack, crazy high defense, like 20,000 defense base, not even base, excuse me, that's rainbowed, I'm going to assume. So 20,000 defense rainbowed, 38,000 attack, dude, like what? Anyways, so this is the card. It's very straight to the point. No link set, no categories, just straight into it. All right, let's just see what we're looking at. With a card with 38,000 attack, rainbowed, I mean, come on now. This card is killing everything in its path. It just has to be. So, LR, STR, End of Earth, Cell Max, dope name. And his leader skill is Artificial Life Forms, Super Bosses, Movie Bosses, 5 key, and 250% to stats. You guys know where we're going with this. So, his 12 and 18 key super attack effects, because they're both the same because it's 12 plus 18. He gains 100% attack and defense for 1 turn and does mega colossal damage. So he does mega colossal damage in both of his super attack effects as well as getting 100% attack and defense. So strong leader skill, strong super attack effects. Okay. Alright, and his passive. He activates the interest animation once only, of course, and for 1 turn, 750% attack and defense. Guys, he has over 38,000, just a little bit over 38,000 attack, rainbowed with 20,000 defense. That's his card's stats, by the way. Just put it out there. It's pretty good. Come on now. And he launches a guarantee super, and he guards. That's all for that 1 turn. 1 turn, he's getting 750% attack and defense, doing a guarantee super, and guarding. Okay. And he starts out with 500% attack and defense at the start of turn. Crazy high, obviously, considering the fact that his stats are like just Saitama joke character, just levels of just craziness. And he gets an additional 100% attack and defense up to 500%. And he gets 7% damage reduction up to 35%. And he also gets a 10% chance to dodge up to 50% per movie bosses or super bosses category ally on the team. Brother. I mean, you just run a full movie bosses / super bosses team, which of course that is his leader skill because he's giving 5 key and 250% attack and defense. And he's just going to have a free additional 500% attack and defense, a free 35% damage reduction, a free 50% chance to dodge. And we're not even done reading his card yet. And he also has a unrestricted 40% damage reduction. Okay. Not that he already has that 35% from you just having those movie boss and super boss characters, but he also has an additional 50% chance to dodge. So right now, of what we're seeing of this part of his kit, this is all we read so far. We read literally half this card. Turn 1, quite possibly just the most, I don't even know, relentless, destructive unit. Just ever. This guy, turn 1, is going to have 750% attack and defense, a guaranteed super, and guard. And then within that same turn, of course, because he starts out with 500% attack and defense, he'll have an additional 500% attack and defense again, leaving him at, basically, if you're running a full Super Bosses / Movie Bosses team, he's going to start out with 1,000% attack and defense, and up to, what's that? That's up to 75% damage reduction and 50% chance to dodge. So, turn 1, 1,000% attack and defense, a 50% chance to dodge, 75% damage reduction, guard, what? And a 50% 50% chance to dodge, 75% damage reduction, and guard, and 1,000% attack and defense. And no, count that 750% attack and defense for that first turn, and that's 1,750. That's 1,750% attack and defense just on that first turn. Ridiculous. All right, and let's read the rest of this card. Launches an additional super when there is an enemy whose name is Gohan. So that makes a lot of sense because it's Cell Max. Disables guard after performing 5 or more attacks in battle. Okay. And he has just a baseline 30% chance to dodge. So, my bad, guys. Bump that 50% chance to dodge up to an 80% chance to dodge. Okay. And he gets 150% attack and defense with each attack received or dodged up to 750%. Okay. So he just gets stronger for taking hits and dodging, which he's taking no damage from no boss anywhere. And when HP is 50% or less, which of course this character is never going to see that. Well, I mean, maybe on, not even, you're never going to see this. All attacks directed to this character, and you gain an additional 25% damage reduction and 1,000% attack once only. Okay. People, what are we looking at here, right? On the defensive end, let's just go ahead and sum it up. Let's say we're just sitting on turn 1, right? Let's say, you know what? Let's take it to the absolute extreme. Okay, so you guys know that the little event where you nuke Cybermen? I think you nuke Cybermen and you or nuke Frieza soldiers. That's a better one. Where you nuke Frieza soldiers, and if I remember correctly, you can go ahead and damage yourself on purpose. Like you can go through a slot that damages yourself down to a certain point. I believe that's how that is. So let's say you go through that event, right, where you're supposed to take down those Cybermen, or you just take down those Frieza soldiers, either event, and you're running this card. We're going to the absolute extreme. So, with everything activated, right, with your full movie bosses / super bosses characters on the team, with let's say, with of course you being below that 50% less HP threshold, of course you're not gonna have that 750% attack and defense, because this is gonna be turn 1. Let's just go ahead and look at turn 1 exclusively. So turn 1, you go ahead and get yourself into this situation, right, where your HP is below the HP threshold. Okay, so on his first turn, you're below the HP threshold. This card is going to be directing all attacks to this character. He's going to, on the defensive end, he's going to have a 80% chance to dodge, guard, as well as, what's that? That's 100% damage reduction. Because do remember, he does, I think my math was correct. Because 40 plus 35 should be 75, if I'm correct. And then, of course, you get that additional 25% damage reduction. So, yes, my math was correct. Okay, so yes, 80% chance to dodge, guard, as well as 100% damage reduction. And then he gets 750% attack and defense. Remember, we're talking about the first turn. Let's just saying that you went through those little paths that damage you on purpose, or just damage you just if you land on it. 750% attack and defense right over here. Guarantee super right over here. 500% attack and defense right over here. An additional 500% attack and defense right over here. We're strictly talking, with these stats, because you have stats here, you have stats here. Just ridiculously high stats right over there. And then we go down over here. On the first turn, we're not going to have this fully built up, but still, he builds up ridiculous amounts of attack and defense. And he gets 1,000% attack right over here. That's it for the card. And his active skill, if the boss is somewhat still alive at this point, he raises attack by 4,000% temporarily. directs all incoming attacks to self and causes ultimate damage to all enemies. So he's AoE, right? Honest. This card has no weakness, right? Well, could you technically say this card could struggle for key? Could you technically say? Probably. Because this card starts out with no key. And, I mean, his best linking partner would be who? Okay, that's going to be about it. Hunter, I believe you're the person who sent this card. Ridiculously strong card. I mean, this is the epitome of a custom card. This is just what a custom card would look like if you would make it. Either this or Dokkan-esque and all the other good stuff. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. You guys are the best. Send me custom cards over to bhwcustomcards@gmail.com so get to your custom card as soon as possible while I'm getting all these recent custom cards out the way. And that's going to be about it. Peace.